And then he said, "Don't look into the milk bit."
Oh no! You looked into the milk bit, didn't you?
Never look into the milk bit. I'm almost saddened that you told me that. Like, this McDonald's coffee is the only thing giving me, as the kids say, life this morning.
It give me life.
And you've told me not to look in the milk bit. And I don't know what that means, but I'm now dreading to open up the plastic lid.
Oh no, open up the plastic lid. Don't look in the milk bit of the machine that they used to make them.
No, but can you hear me sipping it just for authenticity? I'm dreading looking into the milk bit just in case there's a little message like congealed into the moisture that says,
No.
"Don't look into the milk bit."
It's like never look into the milkshake machine.
It's like, see, I was going to go Ark of the Covenant, but now you're making me even more worried.
Milkshake machine. Like, we all know how bad that stuff is.
Milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, "It's better than yours." Damn
it's
right.
better than yours. But you know what? You know what would be a better milkshake?
What's that?
The Snyder Cut milkshake.
Oh, we've got some stuff to talk about. Boys and girls, welcome to the Big Dame Quaist. I am Christopher. This is the past Johnson.
I am Matthew. I am the future Watson.
And this is our annual Chris is at pantomime episode.
No, the first in the series.
The first in the series. Yeah.
The thingy episodes. Yeah.
We are Skyping.
Yeah.
We are Skyping hard.
The Skyping segment of the year.
But as I talked to you, it's Monday the 18th, and rehearsals don't start till tomorrow. And as such, we thought we'd get this in, because normally first week of Panto, we get an episode in that's more of a generic or an umbrella topic one and pre-record it. Whereas with this one, it was like, no, I'll have a day. Let's see if anything happens. And a couple things happened. Our two main topics today, Boys and Goyles, are going to be War of the Worlds Part 1?
Episode 1 of 3.
See, for some reason I had it in my head that it was just a TV movie by this point, but I think that's because it's so minimally advertised.
It might as well be a TV movie because it's 3 hour-long episodes.
Oh my god, you know what happened the last time they made a 3 hour-long TV movie?
Stephen King's The Shining?
Yeah. I'd forgotten about that for a second. I think I drunk to forgot about that. No, I was going to reference the It TV movie, which of course everyone refers to as It the movie, and that's what it's called on like merchandise and stuff now. They refer to it as It the movie.
It's not a movie,
but it was a 2-part TV series that on the DVD, and to this day apparently, obviously the Blu-ray will be different, but to this day they use the same DVD print where episode 1 is on one side of the disc.
Yeah.
And episode 2 is on the other. And there's no distinct markings on the disc to give you a heads up as to which part is which.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I don't get it.
It's really strange. Like it was kind of common in early Blu-rays. Like I remember a few of the early ones. But back when some of them had cardboard cases with plastic clips.
Now you mention it, I think I had a copy of Starship Troopers that you had to turn over in the middle.
Yeah, and sometimes for longer films, but sometimes the special features were on the second side.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And it's really weird, because it's like, what, really? But you can fit loads on a DVD. But it's like Blu-ray has been for the majority of its life so far. You can fit loads on it, but they don't. They don't.
You know what? You know why what that was, though?
Mostly because of the size of the actual thing, isn't it?
No. It's because of the reason you can fit so much on a DVD is because it's dual layered. But early DVDs, they hadn't worked out how to put the layers on one side, so they had to put them on different sides.
What's the Blu-ray excuse?
They just hadn't worked out how to layer them up properly.
What Blu-ray have you got, or have you that you've like watched where it's actually feels like they're using the disc space wisely?
None.
Because I've only got one, and that's the Twilight Zone box sets. They're the only ones I can think of.
For your standard dual layer Blu-ray disc has like a 50 gigabyte capacity, and your average HD movie, depending on your bit rate, is going to clock in at between 3 and 6 gigabytes. So it depends how they alter the disc, but like not regular 1080p HD movies should not be going anywhere near filling up even a single layer Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But it's It's the 4K ones that really fill out a DVD, really fill out a disc.
The buggers.
Yeah, because you're talking about...
The Twilight Zone's like remastered and stuff. Like the audio's remastered and the visuals
Yeah,
like
yeah.
as crisp as it can look. But I guess there would still be a lot more room. Because for every episode, there's like another episode of another television show that has either the lead actor in it or something Rod Serling wrote on a similar topic.
Oh, wow, yeah,
It's got,
that's quite...
Each episode has a radio episode attached to it that, again, is like just similar or is like hey, we don't have one for this, so here's the next episode of that one we put on season 1. And there's commentaries on a load of them from fans and writers, and it's like, oh my god, every disc has like 8 episodes on it and a boatload of special features.
I've got a commentary for the Twilight Zone.
Oh,
This is weird! 45 minutes of me going, this is weird!
We should do a big damn commentary for Twilight Zone the movie.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and we can spot the exact moment in the production where everybody's like, oh god.
Yeah.
That was a John Landis joke. Look it up,
Yeah.
folks. He may have directed some of your favourite movies, but the man is technically an assistant to murder.
Manslaughter.
Hey.
Why does manslaughter...
I was going to make one of my usual alleged jokes, but no, there isn't alleged.
Why does manslaughter sound worse than murder?
I know, right? I know.
Anyway,
Was it spoken? It's slander. In print, it's libel.
It's libel. All right, so spoken, it's murder. In print, it's manslaughter. Okay.
Oh my god! So we're going to be talking about the manslaughter that is war of the world. Well, the reason I say that is because obviously there's all this rumored trouble thing around its production and release. You watched it last night.
Yeah.
As I sweated myself into a restless sleep.
Yeah.
In my panto digs. So I can't wait to hear what you're going to say. But also, and I reiterate, this is recorded on the 18th of November.
Yeah.
Our points of view on this next topic are going to be about it overall. And any more advancements between now and the end of the week where this comes out, we will cover next week.
Yeah, this is...
But we're diving into the hashtag release the Snyder Cut debate / event.
Is weird.
It's really weird. So this is from the perspective of two people on Monday the 18th. To keep that in mind, people who are like, what are their up-to-date thoughts? But like I said,
Monday
we're
the 18th
going to talk about its history a bit, so there is stuff to learn still. There is stuff to gain from this.
Yeah.
By Jimmy.
Well, is there?
Well, do you know what? I'll start us off on a lighter note. There is something to gain in the world. The trailer for the new SpongeBob movie came out.
Oh no!
Do you know how I know?
This existed.
Do you know how it's using the same sort of animation, CGI, live action, hybrid style as the last one? But do you know how I know about it?
Because you're in it.
Yeah, no. Because the internet immediately lost its shit when they realised that Keanu Reeves is in it.
Oh god!
As like his own face and stuff, not a voice. Not a voice. He is. Oh god. How best to describe this? Well, you know how like Keanu improves everything.
Well, yeah, actually he does. I was going to contest that, but I'm like, no, he does actually.
Yeah, in modern day especially, he absolutely does.
Yeah.
Well, in Sponge on the Run,
Fuck off.
the latest what's it?
Fuck off, Sponge on the
Yeah,
Run.
the latest SpongeBob movie adaptation. It turns out that Keanu Reeves is going to be playing a ball of tumbleweed. But it's oh god, his name is Sage. He's made out of sage and he is a sage. And as he says in the trailer, so it works out pretty well.
Okay.
God. That is all we know so far. But the fact that they've just gone, we need a sage who is made of sage. Should we just CGI a tumbleweed and put Keanu Reeves' face into the middle of it? Yeah, sure. Shows that these guys are at least aware of what sort of things we want to see when we go to the cinema. More Keanu. More Keanu.
Mean, what sort of things?
If you're having to take a small child to see Sponge on the Run, wouldn't the experience admittedly be significantly improved with the inclusion of Keanu Reeves playing a tumbleweed?
I mean, yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah,
they've done their job.
Granted,
They've absolutely done their job.
I'll grant you that.
Other trailers. Have you seen the teasers for Crisis on Infinite Earths?
No.
So they're really sparingly dousing out no information whatsoever, but they just show a couple of moments, specifically a character, I can't remember her name now, but showing up and being like, the time has come, I need your help. And one of the teaser is just her encountering Barry, and Barry's like, oh god, it's that time, like, he's done it. At least something he says. It's like, okay. There is whatever bleeding incarnation of, oh god, what's his face? Sinister evil wheelchair guy who's been playing 85 characters since Tom Cavanaugh. Whatever incarnation he is now is in a superhero costume.
He's playing Pariah in this.
Oh god. Oh, of course. Well, one.
So, the guy who turns up as each Earth is about to die in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, so that'll be who Barry's referring to then.
Stop it! I can't stop it! And the heroes are like, why can't you stop it? He's like, I can't stop it! And he's crying and then he disappears.
Writing. So
I just have to look at it.
He's in the Black Lightning teaser where Black Lightning is basically just like shaking him, going like, the hell do you want? And Flash is like, all these Earths are going to end and we need your help. And there's some terrible dialogue in these teasers because he says like, you want me to help? You tell me my world's going to end and you want me to help? It's like, yeah. What a weird reaction.
What else would you do?
That's a dumbass reaction. That's so stupid. But it's cool to see Black Lightning finally sort of absorbed into the fold of the other CW Arrowverse
shows.
Because
it's kind of been its own thing, hasn't it?
But it had to be, because it was a bit more adult, and it was I think it originally was on a different network, and then the CW were like, no, we'll have it, but it's in a later slot. So as a result, they chose to not make it part of that shared world.
Yeah.
But in Berlanti's ongoing wisdom, decided to not contradict anything that would exist within the others, so that if they could bring it in, they would. But obviously, with Crisis on Infinite Earths, you have an easy get out, which is, it's a different dimension, like Supergirl, who also has a teaser where she and Superman are like, right, we're ready, like, we're teaming up. But that teaser opens with a shot of a shredded Superman cape with a yellow S blowing on a pole in the middle of a wasteland, harking back to that famous cover from The Death of Superman.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say Very Death of Superman.
But that trailer also shows us a very brief glimpse of Brandon Routh in full costume as Superman. Because the legend, he looks really cool. The Legends teaser doesn't show as Atom. I'm not sure what the status of Ray Palmer is in that show currently, but I imagine he's in it. So we'll see how that plays out. But,
he's in the shot. He's just very, very small.
Do you think that's how they're going to get around it? They did it in real time on set. So every time they need Superman from the Kingdom Come Superman, they're like, "Oh, I'll just go get him," says the Atom, as he walks out of the room. And then Superman comes back in 5 minutes later, pulling up his boots. And he's like, "It's me!" Like rubbing talc in the sides of his hair.
It's me.
It's me.
It's me. The Earth 2 Superman. Definitely not Ray Palmer in a Superman cosplay.
Superman.
Yes.
Where's the Atom?
He's very small in my butt.
Oh.
I've got an itch.
And that is why the DC CW universe is better than the MCU.
I've got an itch.
Because they put the tiny man inside the powerful man's bum.
I've got an itch that nothing can scratch except a tiny man in my butt.
You're the best. Around.
Fuck.
Oh, dreadful. But yeah, it looks pretty funky. Batwoman looks totally confused, and so do most of the viewers watching the trailers, because they're like, wait, there's a Batwoman show? But yes, there is.
Most of the people watching Batwoman.
The reactions have been mixed to negative.
Yeah, it's not been
I think the thing I hate about the premise, weirdly, because I was all for it when I heard about it, but the thing I hate about the premise is Batman has been missing. So Batman exists now, finally, in the Berlantiverse.
Mario is missing?
No, Barrio. Batman exists.
Batio is missing.
In the Berlantiverse. He does exist in this dimension.
Does he?
Yeah, but he's been missing for 3 years. And the Batman fan in me is like, all right, that's the premise for your show. Like, she's filling the void. She steals his stuff. She works with, oh God, who's Lucius's son again?
Sexy Fox.
That's the one. She's working with Sexy Fox, and it's like, okay.
Because it's a CW show, so everyone is always a sexy
young
fox.
And sexy. Or older, but topless and jacked.
So yeah, sexy.
Yeah. So it's like, so that's the premise. But the Batman fan of me is like, he wouldn't disappear for 3 years and not leave contingencies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
he did leave a contingency.
Sexy Fox.
His sexy Fox.
Yeah, Sexy Fox. What I want you to do is recruit someone to fill my place. Okay, Batman, I'll get on it right away, but in 3 years.
In 3 years.
What about all the criminal... No. All of my rogues gallery will inconspicuously not be showing up that much anymore. But don't worry, there's a crazy lady called Alice. So, yeah.
Alice?
I know Alice is part of...
Is Alice?
I know Alice is part of... Oh, if someone doesn't slip that into one of the scripts. I know Alice is part of Batwoman's like canon and everything in her story, especially with the New 52 take on her. But she seems like an underwhelming big bad when you are confirming that this takes place in Gotham. Do you know what I mean? It's like, have her in there, but she's in apparently like they've sort of Luthered her the way they do in the Supergirl seasons, where it's like the Luthers are a constant presence, and it's like, how about make Alice something really scary and then bring her out for the finale? And in the meantime, like, you can do Batman stuff, guys. You could totally do the lower tier villains in this show without a problem. Absolutely.
See, I'm very vanilla. I don't like to do Batman stuff.
Oh, you're very conservative, like Batman in a way.
Yeah.
He's very conservative in a way. He doesn't appear to be a big on, like, you know, racism.
He's not big on societal reforms.
Yeah.
Shall we say?
Well, I don't know. Actually, he's very liberal in that way, because he's like, no, I would rather get people like taken into institutions where they can be dealt with. And he hates guns. And he hates
I'm
going
to punch him first.
He hates guns, but he's also from old white money.
Oh yeah,
so,
love that old white money.
And he's got a butler and has like no qualms about it.
And
he probably would make Gotham better had he not spent a damn penny on all of his gadgets and given every single bit of money he had spent on that to like building hostels and hospices and like, you know, psychological help for people. Like, if he spent all that money on that,
these poor people aren't going to pull themselves out of poorness, of poverty and crime if I don't punch some sense into them. I'm Batman.
Civilized people, they'll eat each other.
Well, yeah, because you got taken away all the fucking food benefits.
You get what you fucking deserve.
There's no food banks in Gotham because Batman took all the funding and put it towards his fancy plane.
And where is the Batman? He's at home doing his taxes.
How many food banks can one Batplane
You know, I'm
fund?
just saying it now. The greatest Batman villain ever, in terms of the one who like had a point and like nearly had him on his knees, is that dude who figured out where the money was going in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
He's the greatest Batman villain ever. I say that with only a slight bit of irony.
Irony. There's no irony here.
Nobody here but us chickens.
Nobody.
But outside of chickens, there are also strange objects landing on the Earth from a distant planet.
Oh, mate. Though.
Ooh. Let's talk about the Snyder Cut. No, we'll get to that. So, War of the Worlds, man. You watched it last night, part 1.
Yeah.
Is BBC One Sunday night suddenly all about genre drama? Because there's Dark Materials on earlier
Dark
on
Materials
Sunday nights.
on at 8, yeah, and then
you got like the news and Strictly, and then War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
Hot damn.
More like...
Was it post-Watersheds?
More like Bore of the Worlds, am I right?
Oh, if it is post-Watershed, it was to protect people.
If there's nothing in it that's particularly, like, post-Watershed, unless you know, like, Victorian sensibilities, like everyone else in the show, and it's like, oh...
I like my nudity the way I like my Victorian sensibilities, just up to the cuff.
Well, Georgian, I suppose, it's turn of the century, but... But it's like
someone knows way too much about old porn.
Right, it's like so. Oh, right, okay, so. Right, so. Let me start with so the two main characters in this, George and Amy.
If one of them isn't Baby Yoda, I don't care.
Race Paul and Eleanor Thomas. So here's the deal. The first 20 minutes are mostly about how much of a social pariah is. How much of a social pariah Race Ball's main character George is for leaving his wife, who is betrothed to, is also his cousin. So he's betrothed to his cousin and married his cousin because the families wanted them to marry. And then he's left her for another woman and taken up with her, but he hasn't divorced because his wife won't grant him a divorce. And so now no one will talk to him. And that's like the main source of drama. They're both ostracized in the village. And that's the huge source of drama.
We're both massively familiar with Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
Have you read Wells' original book?
Several times.
Is this a plot point?
No.
Right, so, I mean, we've talked about this before. Adaptation, absolutely make changes if you feel that you can improve the story or change things in a way that make it work, either streamline it or tackle things in your adaptation. But in a book where the main thrust of the drama and intrigue is an unprepared civilization dealing with a military assault from an intergalactic threat...
Yeah.
They've decided that the thing that should take up the majority of the first episode is some familial bitching.
Yeah.
I can already see why people were feeling uneasy about this before it came
Yeah, they should have done, because it's fucking boring.
Oh, no.
When the Martian carnage does happen, it's good Martian carnage.
Marnage, if you will.
But, like, yeah... But it's full of weird decisions. Like, you've got Robert Carlyle as Ogilvy, the astronomer, and he's good mates with George and Amy, and he's not treating them like outcasts because they're not married, and George is technically still married to someone else and all that crap. But he's excited, and you see them, and he's there at the observatory, and they see the eruption on Mars, and he's got loads of these photos of eruptions on Mars, and then the thing lands and they go and examine the thing. And then him and George are there when, except the heat ray doesn't erupt. What happens is there's a big crack on the meteor, and then it opens up and there's this goo inside. And the Astronomer Royal is there, and he puts his hand in the goo, and it's like, and then it starts spinning around, and all of a sudden things start setting on fire, starting with the Astronomer Royal. So you get this scene of like, yeah, but it's not a heat ray. It's like this glob of goo is spinning and getting higher and higher and higher, and things are just randomly setting on fire. And then George runs off, and then there's two scenes later on of people looking for Ogilvy, and he's nowhere to be found. Obviously, he's dead, but you don't see him die. He just doesn't come back. It's a really odd choice. Like, why did you get Robert Carlyle for this? And then he just disappears.
Wait, Robert Carlyle's just in episode 1?
As far as I can tell.
But it's Robert Carlyle. You don't cast Robert Carlyle and then underuse him.
Unless they're going to bring him back later and it's like, oh, he survived the original thing. But then there's two scenes. Like, there's a scene of George looking for him, and he goes back and the military are there cornering it off, and he's like, no one survived, and they're just carting burnt bodies out. And then there's a scene of Amy going back to his observatory looking for him, and then she finds all the photos that he took of the eruptions on Mars, and she's like, oh, there's clearly a thing here. I'm going to work out where they all went. But then you realise that none of this is actually important, because through the episode at random times there's like flashes to what you think is Mars, because the first time you see it, it's like all red dust, and then there's the wreckage of a tripod. Bear in mind, this is a good 30 minutes before you actually see a tripod, but you see the wreckage of one before you see one on what is you think is Mars.
Ah, yes, Wreckage Ralph, yes.
Yeah, and then you see another flash to this, what is maybe Mars, but it's an adult and a child trudging through it, all hooded up. And then you keep getting these little flashes of like this adult and child, and it eventually turns out that oh, it's the future, everything's devastated and Earth looks like Mars, and this is Amy and George's son.
Oh.
So it's Amy tracking through, like, post-apocalyptic Earth with George's son.
Wait,
because
so...
at the end of the episode, she's talking to George's brother who's ostracized him, and he's like, why did you leave him behind? Oh, you told me to leave him behind, because they get separated and she rides off on a horse to safety while the first tripod appears and George gets trapped under wreckage. And so that's how they get separated. And then she's talking to his brother later on after she's got to London, before the war has reached London, and he's treating him, he's like, I love him, I'm going to have his child. And then you get another flash forward to the future and you see the person and the child that are trudging through this post-apocalyptic Earth is Amy and George's son. So, and it's just like, well, why are we having... Hang on, they've got three episodes, got 3 hours to do the War of the Worlds and then also this future bit with the son of the two main characters, and one of the main characters still...
I mean, I can't get over the fact that the future bit implies that they lose. Like, the future bit implies that... Because I know obviously in the book, it gets pretty far into the whole, like... There is a lot of murder and a lot of death and a lot of land being completely flattened and pulverised. But...
in the original book, they don't make it off the British Isles.
Yeah, like, in the original book...
The Martians don't make it off the British Isles.
It sort of all takes place over the course of a few weeks, doesn't it?
A couple of weeks, if that.
Yeah, because then... spoiler alert for anyone watching it, although by the sound of it, they'll probably change their minds at this and have them all be defeated by divorce or something.
Hey!
In the original book, the effort to fight back against the Martians proves to be ultimately futile, and they've won, but then they get the cold. They get the common cold, and it was something that they weren't prepared for. Like, it was an invasion fleet that had done its thing and was like, right, we're going to take this planet. And then they got there, and after being around long enough, they started to get our illnesses, and they weren't able to deal with it.
It's just like the whole...
And then the birds eat them.
Like, a lot of the stuff at the start of the episode is just like, oh, because George is a reporter, and then there's his newspaper, and then he's trying to get a quote on this incident where the Russians have sunk a bunch of British merchant ships. Is it the start of a war? There's a press conference, and is this going to be a war? And then George is trying to talk to the aide of the minister, who's his brother, but he doesn't. They don't talk anymore because he left his wife.
Where they make everybody know each other to make the world convenient for drama, but in turn just makes it seem really small and coincidental.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Star Wars
But
effect.
next episode...
The Star Wars effect. Oh, they all know each other. But it's a giant galaxy. They all know each other. Oh.
Next episode, we're getting an attack on London and the Black Smoke, so that's something, right?
Have we had any red weed?
The effect... No, in the future sequences, there is some, like, red crystals and what looks like some red weed.
Okay. They better not chicken out on the red weed. That is some creepy imagery. God damn it.
Oh, and they really, really like close-up, fast-motion footage of ants.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
Why?
There are some actually pretty cool moments in this, but for the most part, it's just really, really boring. Like, it takes ages for anything to happen, and then a bunch of cool stuff happens, and there's carnage and everything. The heat ray's invisible, which is nice.
Yeah.
You don't see the heat ray, you just see the effects of it, which is pretty cool.
You just see people charring up on the spot.
Well, they just burst into
That's
flame.
cool. I like that.
And it's like George and Amy have a maid, and then like this maid's like, oh, my sister was down at the common, and then there's a whole, and you think she might actually be a character, but as soon as they start to leave the house, the first thing that happens after they come out of the house and and things start getting into the village is that the house collapses on top of the maid and kills her.
Jesus.
So it's like immediately you just kill this side character off for no reason. It's like, okay, all right,
I can
cool.
fuck with that.
But so that's it's like, oh, you got this developed character and then you suddenly kill her off. But then compare that to the decision to like have all this time with George and Amy bonding with Ogilvy and then not show him die.
Yeah, that seems really stupid. I think he's going to be
disappears.
revealed to be around still. Like it seems weird to cast.
Because it doesn't make any sense
Mr.
otherwise
Carlyle.
to cast Robert Carlyle, and then just literally unless they like forgot to shoot his death scene or something, which wouldn't surprise me because it's just bits of this that it's just
or
all
the
over
effects
the place.
didn't work, so they chickened out.
Yeah, but it's like the structure of it is just complete. The structure and pacing is completely fucked. Like it's just all over the place. Like when they have these like I said, they keep having these flashes of what you think is Mars, but then it's revealed to be a Earth post invasion. But they come so far before the first couple of them come so far before like the reveal of what's going on with the meteor and the first reveal of the tripod that they have no context because you don't know what you're looking at.
Is there a lot of assumption that people know what these characters are and what it all does and everything?
Well, no, because there's no it's not adapting the book.
Yeah, true.
It's not adapting those characters or the flow of events from the book, so I don't know what it's expecting people to, especially because there was a lot of like trumpeting that this was going to be like a faithful adaptation of, but I think they just meant that it's the original period that the book was set in rather than anything else, because that's kind of all it's set in Horsell. The first meteor comes down on Horsell Common, and there's an astronomer called Ogilvy. That's it. That's the similarities to the book.
There's your War of the Worlds, you suckers.
Like, you don't see, because it's weird because you see when the meteor first goes crazy on the Common and people start bursting into flame, it's literally like a ball of goo that's spinning and ascends into the air, and then it eventually dissipates. So there's nothing left. And then you see this rumbling under the ground. And then your next thing you see is like bits of the town exploding as something advances and fucking the military running away. And then you see the shot that you saw in all the teaser trailers of the tripod, the tripod rising above the clock tower. Yeah, but there's no in between. So you go from this weird meteorite setting everything on fire and disintegrating into nothing. You hear that another one's come down. And then you see the tripod.
What on earth? What's the point? What is the point? What is the point?
Like the pacing it's just all over the place. And I'm sitting with Kenesha watching it, and she's saying, "Oh well, you know what have they got stuff right? Is this stuff that
did they do the thing?"
She's looking at me. Yeah, she's looking at me to say, "Is this
accurate?
Do you know what's going on? Because you've read the book, and because I haven't read the book, and I don't know what's going on." And I'm like, "I don't know what's going on because none of this shit's in the book." And all the shit that isn't in the book. Like, and I said this on the Discord as well. I was like, just fucking adapt War of the Worlds.
Just do it, please.
It's not that hard.
Well, that was why I was excited about this initially. We haven't had any modern takes on it that haven't been a spin on. We haven't had any modern. When I say modern takes, I mean like done recently. That haven't been a spin on Jeff Wayne's version, really. Do you know what I mean? Like we.
Well, the last one would have been the 2005.
Yeah, that was the last major one, wasn't it? That was the last on-screen one.
I quite like. I think it's obviously it's not a faithful adaptation.
No, and it's like the previous American adaptation of it, like 60 odd years ago, where it was set present day, and it's like in America. I was like, why? Part of the charm of that original story now is when it was set. Like that's what makes it kind of striking, because we don't get many sci-fi stories that are set, pre like 1950. No. So it's refreshing.
Well, I would argue that both the George Pal and the Steven Spielberg versions are very good at adapting the spirit of the book.
Hands down, yeah.
They both feel like War of the Worlds, whereas this doesn't.
Yeah, this feels like we thought we knew what we were saying with this. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's weird. And do you think behind the scenes, maybe on a creative level, there's been that kind of vibe of this isn't quite right, and that's why it's taken so long?
Yeah, because it's just I don't know if it was originally going to be a longer series or because it just feels like an awful lot to cram into 3 hour, like a 3 hour miniseries of having a bunch of like okay, we're going to do the original War of the Worlds, and then we're also going to do this post-invasion, post-apocalyptic future thing. So I don't know what it is they're trying to do with it, but it's not particularly interesting, whatever it is they're trying to do with it. So, like, just fuck off and adapt. And it's like I say, I don't mind them messing with the narrative and stuff, because I like the 2005 and the 1963 versions. Like, I like the Jeff Wayne. The Jeff Wayne's version is relatively faithful, but it does still
takes liberties. But again, like, the adaptation
there,
thing's there because it's essentially a musical or a concert based on how you watch or listen to it. So it's like you don't mind it taking liberties there, because it's like, this is a completely different take on it. Whereas this could just adapt the book to screen.
And it's not fair to get on it for not doing that, because if that's not what they want to do, and again, it doesn't make it a bad adaptation.
But when they deviate so far, it makes you wonder, do you remember what you were basing this on?
Yeah, so like, are you... It's not War of the Worlds then, is it? It's just an alien invasion. Which is, I guess I kind of split
hairs. Joker's not a Batman movie, but it at least kind of has a story it wants to tell, and it tells it. Whereas this is like, we're going to tell a story. It's War of the Worlds. Okay, cool. But we're not going to tell it that way at all. Okay. Well, are you at least going to get to the core premise of the... Nope!
Nope.
Okay.
I don't understand what they're doing with it. You know, it takes so long to get going. And when it does get going, you're like, oh, is that all we're getting?
We can have words with them. We'll have words with them, Matt.
Are we just doing that? And it's just a bit dull. This first episode was just a bit dull.
Do you think you're gonna stick with it into next week to see how you feel?
I want to see where the future. I want to see where the future stuff's going.
Especially because they're just confirming. Oh yeah, humanity fails. It's like, wait, what?
Well, we don't know what they're confirming yet, because they haven't really said anything about.
I mean, enough time's passed for a child.
Yeah, but he doesn't look. He's probably like 7 or 8.
Yeah, that's still quite a lot of time.
Eleanor Tomlinson doesn't look that different, so it can't have been that long. But, you know, that's just BBC makeup.
Maybe they're moff-atting you. Maybe it isn't their kid. Maybe it's someone they've adopted, and it's actually only like a month later.
Well, maybe. Although that would be a misdirect in the fact that she tells George's brother, "I'm gonna have his child.
I'm gonna have his baby. I'm going to have his
immediately
baby."
Before you get the flash forward, and of course, Kanisha did the thing that she always does, where she predicts exactly what's going to happen. And the first time you see like an adult and a child trudging through this red waste, she's like, "That's George and Amy's son." I'm like, fuck.
You're like, no way.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's the future, and it's George and Amy's son. And it's like, oh, and Amy. And just like looking for George. Is that implying that when they get separated in Woking, that's the last time they see each other? I don't know.
Did they get separated at Pizza Express in Woking in 2001 by any chance?
No. Epstein was not involved.
No. And also, I believe due to a war injury, the Martians can't sweat.
No, they can't sweat. That's why they have to come to Earth. They have to come to Earth and steal people's sweat glands.
Oh God, topical.
Like just
for a week ago.
I just don't understand how they go from spinning meteorite that dissipates into nothing to fucking tripod. What I don't. There's no in between.
There is no in between. And
it's not like
they need to show. They need to at least show like, oh, because I think in Jeff Wayne's thingy they imply that some of these metallic things, the tripods, like were already on Earth and that they emerge.
No. That's just in the Spielberg.
That's just the Spielberg one. Okay.
Where the tripods are already there and they just like teleport into them.
Yeah.
In the Wayne version and in the
it's the meteorites.
They have the materials for them inside the meteorites and they build them once they land.
So instead of showing
there's a pause
us
between
like that kind of, oh my God, like, oh, it's not just this goo that makes people set on fire. They're building machines. Like, instead of doing that, it's just there's a goo and there's a machine now.
Yeah.
Oh, so dumb.
It's really weird.
There were scenes between that and they just didn't finish them. Because a big speculation around this, the delay for this, was the visual effects.
The visual effects are fine.
Yeah, but considering the visual effects work started on it like nearly 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, no, it was shooting. It was like in the midst of shooting in Liverpool this time last year.
Was it though? Because they put a clip of it in the New Year trailer in January.
Yeah.
So they must have already like shot some stuff earlier, or at least that was a complete visual effects shot that they'd shot early on in production. But
it's a complete visual effects shot because it's also the first reveal of the tripod that you see in the
true.
episode.
But think about the turnaround as well. Like Doctor Who, for example, can whip out a bunch of CGI stuff with production like beginning on an episode saying like the September, and then in March there's the episode with the CGI components looking pretty damn great for the year of broadcast. So it's like, you know, what's War of the Worlds excuse? But wasn't there a thing as well where people compared the look of the tripod in that trailer to the look of it in a newer one, and they look different? Like they've had the design tweaked somewhat, almost as though someone's gone, nope, scrap that, do it again.
Yeah, I don't know. It's...
Do you think the tripods have got to go fast? Do you think James Marsden's gonna take the tripod on a road trip to
I wish
to defeat the evil Dr. Robotnik?
I wish that it would go fast, because at the moment it's going very, very slow. So production began in May of 2017.
Oh my god, that long ago!
They started filming in Liverpool in April of 2018.
Ah, right. Okay, so we've had about a year and a half since cameras rolled. But even pre-production involves like rendering and testing where you're going to go with your CGI and all that. So,
but filming and post-production were completed in May of 2019.
They were still filming some this year?
Well, that's filming and post-production.
It's a 3-part drama on BBC One. Like, what? It shouldn't take nearly a year to shoot. Unless there was extensive reshoots. Like, unless they had to shoot a lot of stuff. I mean, then again, it could be something little as like, oh, we need to fill the crowds out in this shot. Like, right, we're going to film some people on, like, green screen and do this, that, and the other. But even so, that is...
But also, this, as has been mentioned by our listeners, this, in a very derogatory fashion, this series has been written by Peter Harness.
Who can write good stuff, but yeah.
Let's look at what else he's written, shall we?
Shall we then?
Shall we take a look at his other writing credits? Yeah, he's got The War of the Worlds. He's written a couple of episodes of Doctor Who, and I bet you know which ones they are.
Oh my god, I've just realised. Are they the Monk trilogy?
He wrote one of the Monk trilogy, yeah.
Fuck.
Oh
fuck no!
The pyramid at the end of the world.
That was the second part, wasn't it?
He also wrote the Zygon Invasion and the Zygon Inversion.
That story.
And
why don't we just sit down and talk? Memes, beautiful memes. No, just
I don't know. I like that speech. I think that's a good speech. It's a good sentiment.
I like
certainly.
the sentiment behind it. Absolutely. I just think it's one of those things where like all this talent around it all swelled together to create something that felt really pretentious.
He also wrote Kill the Moon.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
He wrote the Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
Oh no, that was cool. I remember that being quite cool.
That was also 7 episodes.
That was Eddie
long.
Marsden and Bertie Cavill, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was quite good. Okay, don't fuck that guy like too viciously. Just gently.
But like, yeah, the the War of the Worlds adaptation. Oof, it's been getting some rough reviews on IMDb.
And that's because it also went out early.
It's been you can find full synopses of the series. Like, I've been spoiled on a couple of things that are going to happen in the future just from like trying to research this one, because all 3 episodes have aired in other countries.
We've been for those who are wondering how we know about all this stuff. Lovely Ian over on the Discord was the first to sort of notify us this was happening. If you want to join the Discord, patreon.com/BigDamnCast. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support the show and join the Discord.
The first episode premiered all the way back on the 6th of October.
Jesus wept.
Like, what?
What was the delay? Like, why did we get it later? Why did we get no news on its broadcast till? Because if I remember correctly, we got the air date less than a fortnight ago. Was when they said it's going to go out on November the 17th.
Yeah, it feels like they're trying to bury it, which they probably should because it's not good.
It's so strange. It's so strange, man. I don't know. Part of me did wonder actually recently whether or not because of rumoured delay to Doctor Who's production and various bits and pieces, whether they were holding it back to fill the void for genre drama a little bit. But then I realised, no, they could probably just release Dracula sooner if they really wanted to do that. And they've got his Dark Materials, so it's not like they're out of family-friendly genre stuff to show.
Yeah, and his Dark Materials is really good. We're 3 episodes into that now, and it's really, really good. They've still got a bit of a backlash. There's people who don't like it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
People who think it's boring and weird, and I don't get it, because I really like it.
And you like great things, like... looking into the milk thing in the coffee machine.
Don't look into the milk machine. Don't look into the milk bit. But yeah, I mean, this is an adaptation that could be rescued by the next 2 episodes. But looking at the, I mean, looking at the reviews for the next 2 episodes, I'm not convinced.
You ain't confident, fam.
It's like sitting around if you look at the IMDb scores, which are, always not exactly indicative, but it goes from a 6.6 in episode 1 to a 5.8 in episode 3, so it's a bit of a dip.
Yeah, that ain't good signs. Maybe the Martians have one.
Yeah, who fucking knows?
If anyone watches it and doesn't like it and it's their first experience of War of the Worlds, my advice is, immediately after watching it, if you were disappointed, go and listen to the Jeff Wayne album instead.
Oh yeah, too fucking right.
Still my favourite adaptation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just so great because it just sort of encapsulates how creepy and all-consuming the invasion is, and really highlights how inevitable humanity's failure is going to be. And how sanity's so fragile as suddenly civilization as they know it is suddenly snatched away from them and they don't know what the hell to do. It's so well done. It's great. And also some absolute bangers that slap.
Absolute bangers that do in fact slap.
We'll start all over again.
Oh, it's quite good. It's quite good, Chris.
Around. Do you know what else is quite good? Apparently.
What?
The fabled Snyder Cut of the Justice League movie.
I don't know where this has suddenly come from again. So last couple of days, we've had fucking Batfleck himself.
Last night, as of this recording, Batfleck kicked it up. Because basically, for those who were like, wait, what's the Snyder Cut? Justice League came out 2017. We saw it. We thought it was pretty shite. But what was interesting about it was its production cycle was very troubled. It was originally going to be a 2-part movie, and then Batman v Superman...
I mean, similar to the BBC adaptation of War of the Worlds, the production cycle was more interesting than the actual finished product.
The Batman v Superman's critical reception was dreadful, pretty much, and there were people who loved it, and that's great, and hey, we didn't. We wish we loved it. We honestly wish we liked it. I can't believe I have to reiterate this every time we talk about a thing we don't like that has a big fan base, but here it is, guys. We don't want to hate movies or TV shows. We want to enjoy them.
It's okay to like bad things. You can like bad things.
Yeah, but no, don't, because when you say that, someone's going to go, but it's not bad, it's great, you two don't know what you're talking about, you Marvel shills. I mean, we wish we were Marvel shills, that'd be great. If we could get paid, if we could get paid for that, that'd be amazing. Because we have, for the most part, enjoyed the content that's come out of the MCU. But, we don't want to dislike Batman v Superman and the DCEU. We just haven't liked it.
Oh God, I would love a good Batman movie. I'd love a good Superman movie.
I'd love a good Justice League film. A good Justice League film would be the dream.
I'd like a good Superman film.
It's, we want stuff that we would like, but unfortunately we didn't like these. Disclaimer for anyone who's immediately like, we're not going to listen to you because you don't like the DCEU. Which DCEU films do you like?
Wonder Woman.
Yep, I love Wonder Woman. I think it's great.
Aquaman.
I had a lot of fun with Aquaman. Yeah,
Shazam.
Shazam was my favorite, and I adore the hell out of it.
Uh,
That's it so far, I think, isn't it?
yeah.
Like I think there were things I liked about Suicide Squad, but the film overall not so much. I didn't care for Man of Steel because it was so far removed from what I like about Superman.
Yeah.
So that's not on my radar. I thought Batman v Superman was dreadful. Like just the pacing, the tone, the fact that it stopped for like 20 minutes to show Batman doing his gains, brah, was just like, what is this?
It's just a mess
Like,
in like the worst way possible.
Murder Man versus Captain Hypocrite. It was just like, I don't understand what this is.
Murder Man.
And Justice League is just tonally not very good. Now, that could be down to the fact that the troubled production was sort of out of everyone's hands. At first, it was Warner Brothers' reaction to Batman v Superman's critical reception. They cut Justice League down from 2 films to 1 film. And Zack Snyder was already in pre-production on a 2-part film. So he had to cram a load of stuff together, remove a load of other things. Then on top of that, there was a pretty horrific tragedy in Zack Snyder's life. He and his wife Deborah lost their daughter in really unfortunate circumstances, and he needed time away. And this was toward the end of principal photography for the film. So the majority of it was shot, about sort of 70% of it was shot, and they just couldn't go on. And it's one of those things where it's like, absolutely take the time you need. Absolutely take that time.
Yeah, too fucking right.
But at the same time, it being a business, there are millions of dollars at stake. So Warner Brothers have to make a decision. They can't just halt the production. They have to do something. So they'd been talking with Joss Whedon, whose superhero movie experience, obviously, most recently was on the first 2 Avengers movies and doing bits and pieces with the Russos to like lay the groundwork for Phase 2 and everything. And they came to Joss Whedon because they'd been talking about doing a Batgirl movie with him. And they said, right, Joss, you finish it. So Joss helped finish it. He finished the main shoot, and then he helped helm the reshoots. And between the first teaser trailer and the first full trailer, which was a trailer featuring just Snyder's stuff, and then a trailer featuring stuff by both of them, there was an obvious tonal shift. The film became lighter, both visually and within the dialogue and the tone. And
they literally just turned up the colour grade.
Yeah, oh well.
Like they just turned up the saturation.
Yeah, there's this
of the colour
horrible
grade.
saturation look to the whole movie, but just little things like when we first see the Flash in what we then later learn is the scene of fighting against the revived Superman. It's at night time, and then in the film and in the trailer, it's in the day, and it's like okay, that's interesting. Because obviously it was all done in studios anyway. It wasn't on location, so you can easily do that, but lighting, the actors were lit like it was night, so that might be why they started to play the saturation. I can see why they did the saturation thing in a way. They wanted to kind of give it that comic book visual emphasis by like making the colours pop like crazy. But that was
I love popping colours, you know me.
But that was tonally jarring because Snyder does do that, but he tends to work in muted colours. So suddenly to see a film that obviously had his fingerprints all over it not look like a Zack Snyder movie felt strange.
Can I just say that's really unprofessional as well? Like, you should never touch the film.
Oh, God.
It's very sensitive material.
No, a digital...
The last thing you want when you're getting it projected is a big old fingerprint over Batman's face.
No, we're in a digital era now, Matt. The thing to do would be accidentally leave a watermark on it because you've used an online cheap film editing thing.
Oh, no.
Just a website across the middle of the screen for the whole film. This is my Sonic OC, don't steal.
God.
So it's a hybrid of a movie. Ultimately, I think the God. I think the tonal, it's as awful as that. I think the tonal choices, the choice to lighten it up was a smart call overall for the franchise, but it felt really jarring with Justice League. Especially because if you watch Batman v Superman and Justice League back to back, they feel like completely different mission statements in a way that's just like... It's like you've eaten a hot dog covered in mustard and onions, and then you take a bite of the next one and it's covered in whipped cream. It's like, the hot dog's definitely still here, but it tastes very different and very like stark to the one I've just had.
I've got to be honest, you're not selling me on it.
Hot dogs and whipped cream, my man. This is the future. But so it's, I can see why people would be upset with it. And also Justice League is like, right, this is a fresh start. We've come off the good grace of Wonder Woman. Forget Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. This is where we're going from now on. But it relies so heavily on you knowing the outcome of Batman v Superman for the story to work. And it's much like my hesitation with Birds of Prey coming up in the new year. Like, I feel like it's going to rely on you knowing Suicide Squad, even though the healthiest thing it could do is forget Suicide Squad ever happened.
I think you're worrying a little too much.
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to be the case.
I probably am, and I hope I am. I absolutely hope I am. I want to have a good time with that film.
I hope you are as well.
But with Justice League, it's indisputable, isn't it? Like, you need Batman v Superman for that film to exist. It's why Batman's putting a team together.
Yeah.
It's why they go, we can't win. Let's use the Mother Box to resurrect Superman, which seems like a weirdly reckless thing for the characters to do.
Let's use the MacGuffin to MacGuffin the MacGuffin.
Yeah. And lots of stuff was cut out in this, because the film doesn't have a huge runtime, does it? Overall, Justice League,
just under 2 hours.
Just under 2 hours. Cyborg's backstory is severely cut down, in a way that I think works narratively anyway, as is in the way it's presented. The problem is, even with Joss Whedon on board, they don't give Cyborg enough to do to make him likable or someone you can sympathise with. Ray Fisher does his best, and I'm not surprised that even he has now got involved in this thing. Because he did a lot of work in the original shoot on building up Victor's story and everything. But
also, it is an uphill struggle to make Cyborg interesting.
Hey, Teen Titans, the cartoon, absolutely nails it.
Teen Titans Go.
That too.
Absolutely nails Cyborg.
That too. Because in the film where he goes, booyah, and it's meant to be a fan service moment, but it's like, this Cyborg clearly does not say booyah. Like, why?
No, clearly not.
Why is he saying booyah?
This Cyborg clearly does not.
Also, I hate the fact that he's so. I hate the fact that he's so clearly CGI. Do you know what I mean? You need. I mean, I'm not saying do what they did to poor Jovian Wade in Doom Patrol, where it looks like they've just stuck something to him. Like, you need to find a halfway house.
I know. At the same time, just do that and stick things to him.
Yeah,
like,
Ray Fisher is a prominent theatre actor with a shitload of experience. The guy will make it work. Like, as long as you don't make him look like a Halloween costume, he will make it work.
No, make him look like a Halloween costume. It's good for the kids.
And that's how he blends in. It's like, oh, you're dressed like that Cyborg dude. Yes. Dressed like him.
Dressed like him.
So suffice to say, Justice League had mixed reactions on its release, and it was a strange one because there is and you might be listening to this as one of these people, and if you are, cool, but just listen to what we have to say.
Oh, you're one of those, are you?
There are fans of the DCEU who are ultra passionate about it to a fault. Like, who absolutely love it and back it and want it to work, but won't consider the opinion of anyone who has an issue with it at all. Like, won't think about it. Now, in the interest of fairness, but it isn't a bloody war between two sides. Of course, there are Marvel stans who do the same thing, and they are also stupid. But the point is, there's this whole thing where it's like, the Justice League can do no wrong. But a lot of the same people then decided that they didn't like it a few months later. They just stopped liking it. Because it became apparent that Zack Snyder had a cut of the film in some form. Now, when we say a cut of the movie, this will be going off of the 70-ish% he shot before he had to take his leave from the film.
Yeah.
Much like Richard Donner, working on the original 2 Superman films. Like, he had footage that he worked on. And when he says he has a cut of it, what he'll have meant is that he put together a work edit. A lot of directors...
Yeah, there's a work print, yeah.
A lot of directors also are the editor or work with the editors of a movie. And in the case of big blockbusters, they have to work with other editors. They can't do it themselves. But they make work prints as they go. So when the studio's like, how's it coming along? They can be like, oh, have you got an hour? I'll show you an hour of the film. And things like that, just to it's good for them to keep track of where they're up to. It's good for them to keep track of what shots they still need to get or shots they need to pick up or redo in reshoots. It's just practical. It's good. It's good work ethic. And Snyder obviously had a cut of it. This was based on the stuff he had shot. For some reason, when that was first put out into the world, a big chunk of the DCEU fan base decided that there was a separate cut of the movie that is Snyder's vision, and of course it is, like, it was his shoot of it at this point.
Yeah.
But it's Snyder's vision, ergo it must be better because, like, scare quotes, like, the Marvel boy Whedon clearly tried to ruin Justice League. And it's like, no, he didn't. He wanted to make a Batgirl film. Why would he sabotage the studio he's working with to favour a studio he very openly does not want to work with anymore, i.e. Disney and Marvel Studios?
Yeah.
Joss Whedon's made it clear he doesn't want to work with Marvel anymore because he had a terrible time making Age of Ultron. And it really, like, stressed him out and ground him down. So he probably slept with a few of the female extras. But the point is, did you get that was topical for like a year ago?
Yeah.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Man's a right ingenious, but he's also a creep. People can be multiple things. Sherlock Holmes was the greatest detective in all of fiction, but he's also an opium addict, just saying. And he also played the violin, which I think is a more heinous crime. So Kevin, quiet, Watson, I'm trying to think. It's like Watson's just like, oh, for Christ's sake, it's 4 a.m. Oh,
trying to play more like
Sherlock, just take some opium.
Got him.
Take some opium and zone out front of the fireplace, please. For once, my friend,
Please.
I'm encouraging you to get high.
Get high.
So
Stop playing the violin.
Mrs. Lovett, put some crack in his tea. Mrs. Lovett, Mrs. Hudson, bloody hell. Mrs. Lovett bake him an opium pie.
Mrs. Lovett, what a charming notion, eminently practical and yet appropriate as always. Mrs. Lovett, how I lived without you all these years, I'll never know! Sorry.
Well, we're doing a staged reading. So people assume that Whedon was trying to sabotage it, or they just suddenly decided they didn't like it, despite being very passionately for it when it needed that support when it was out. So there was a lot of like, oh, for God's sake, there's this whole territorial thing. The same people who were like, oh, Such a Body's in the film, it's already my favourite film. And then they decide it's their favourite film.
Yeah.
People get really invested in something and back that horse and decide that is the hill they want to die on before they've even seen a second of it.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be like we've just talked about, I have some what would it be called? Sort of preconceived concerns about something.
Yes. Do you have preconceived concerns?
I have preconceived concerns about Birds of Prey.
Worries.
Yeah. I don't swear by them because I haven't seen it. And when I see it, I can go, oh yeah, no, that thing I was worried about happened, or oh, I'm glad that thing I was worried about didn't happen. But like, I'm not going to go into it going, oh, well, they've done this, and then we'll come out of it going, they definitely did it, even if it's clear they didn't. And there are people who have just decided like the DCEU is way better than Marvel, or the DCEU is, superior storytelling and needs to be championed. And, like, you don't owe those films anything. They don't exist yet. Like, you know what I mean? It's so weird. It's I don't know. It's like whenever Beyonce releases, a preview clip of an upcoming song or tells people the launch date of an album and no one's heard anything about it and they're like, oh my God, it's the greatest album of all time. It's like, you don't know that. You Bayhive weirdos, calm down. I'll never get Beyonce, like, her fans seem to be the least nasty out of all the obsessive fan bases online. But it is that weird thing where I'm like, are you guys okay? Are you okay? Do you need a moment? Do you need a moment alone with Beyonce? Because
do you need a moment alone with Beyonce?
Well, like with a picture of Beyonce, because it's like, you guys, are you okay? You know what I mean? It's one of those where it's really weird. Like even in music, you get like nasty fans who attack others. Like Gaga's fans at one point were being really horrible, and it's like her entire message is about acceptance, inclusivity, and like having a good time, not at the expense of others. So why
No,
you...
but we like this thing more than other people.
Oh, got Doctor Who thing. You're not a proper fan if you've not watched the classic series, and you're not a proper fan because you're telling people who've not watched the classic series that they're not welcome, you twats.
You're not a proper fan if you like Series 11.
Oh, Christ alive. So, just...
Did you see people going on about how the Children in Need thing was staged?
Yeah. Oh, she was an actor. I have a friend who was there. She's an actor, and just before the take, one of them actually says on Gallifrey base, this screen grabs from just that they rubbed onions under her eyes before they went on stage.
Oh, I love it.
Because they're that assured in their own masculinity that they know that a young girl cannot possibly be inspired by seeing someone who looks like her in her favourite TV show.
It's bullshit like this that makes me keep Doctor Who fandom at arm's length.
I hate Doctor Who fandom so much.
It's just the worst.
I like Doctor Who fans. I hate Doctor... No. I like Doctor Who fans. No, I like Doctor Who fans. I can have a conversation with a Doctor Who fan. I hate Doctor Who fandom. Because it's just this hive mind of lovely people and very loud, nasty people. It sucks. And it's like everyone who's ever nasty to anyone else about Doctor Who completely, again, is missing the point of the show that they like.
Yeah.
It's so strange. It's so weird that happens. Because again, with that one, someone was saying like, this is why a female Doctor is important. Look at this reaction. It's wonderful. And someone's like, well, can't she have a hero if it was a male actor? So if she could totally do that as well. Like, why are we making it a thing of the sexes? And it's like, no, you're making it a thing of the sexes. We're pointing out that when a young viewer watches a show, like, young eyes and young minds are open to everything. They don't think of things as like separate races or separate genders in a way that is like, we must segregate everyone into these boxes. They just think of people as people, friends as friends, family as family. That's what they think. But at the same time, when they're looking up to someone, usually the thing that a young mind will connect to first is something that they can relate to. And the most direct way to do that is to see yourself in something. As you get older, you see yourself in other aspects of stuff. Like, I am absolutely not, like, I am not Willow Rosenberg from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. At all.
What?
I am not Alison Hannigan's character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But I can...
Why didn't you tell me this?
I probably should have informed you. But I can now, as an older... guy than when I was younger watching it, I can look at Willow and I can absolutely sort of see her journeys with romance and be like, yep, no, I've been there. Yep, no, I've been there. I can absolutely see her, like, her moments of self-doubt that lead into sort of a feeling of confidence and self-assurance. I've been through that stuff. I can relate to that. I can see that. But when I was much younger, when I was watching Buffy, my favourite character was Xander. Because I was a goofy little, like, kid.
Were?
Okay. At the time, I was a goofy little kid, and Xander was the goofy kid of the group. And I was like, oh, that's me.
Still are,
I know. I'm the Zeppo. But like,
Zeppo.
But I look at that was a deep cut for Buffy fans. But I when you're a kid, that's what you do. You immediately associate with yourself. That is why it's important that representation is throughout, especially family media, because young kids always connect more to someone that looks like them. That's just how it is, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And as they get older, I guarantee that girl absolutely loved watching Capaldi and absolutely loved watching Matt, and you know what I mean? Like, absolutely, she would have grown up watching those things, and that's why she was a fan, which is why she watched it when Jodie was in it. And but then she just absolutely, it was that last connecting bridge of, hey, guess what? This could be you. That did it. Jodie, classy bugger as well. She hands over the screwdriver prop. Because again, a bunch of comments were going like, oh, so what, just giving her a screwdriver toy? Like, oh my God, it's pathetic. It's like, no, she gave her one of the screwdrivers from the show. Yeah. It's not about the fact that it's a screwdriver, a sonic screwdriver. It's about the fact that she owns a piece of the show. That's cool, man. And when she said, from one Doctor to the next, it was like, oh my God, Jodie, I really hope they give you more meaty stuff to work with in Series 12, because you're brilliant. So yeah, like, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, we'll already have lost a bunch of people now. Like, God, they're slagging off DC fans. They're slagging off people who have a problem with Series 11. Yeah, we are.
Everyone's a target.
So Yeah, so there are people who decided then immediately that this cut of the film must be a complete cut and they want to see it. And hashtag release the Snyder Cut began. It's been going on for nearly 2 years. Yeah, it's 2 years since Justice League came out, so it's been going on for about a year and 10 months now. This thing of release the Snyder Cut.
Been going on for nearly too bloody long.
And it was fueled even more over the course of this year. Because people probably noticed whenever they looked at the trending tab on Twitter that it's been showing up a lot more recently.
It's been a pretty permanent fixture, yeah.
Earlier this year, during the sort of wind-down marketing for Aquaman, Jason Momoa said, "Oh, there's a Snyder Cut. I've seen it." Now, Jason Momoa is many things. Some of them wonderful. But one of them is a bit of a shit stirrer. So it's entirely possible what he's saying is, I saw, like, the edit that Zack was doing.
Yeah.
And I like it. And that exists. But instead, he's going, I saw the Snyder Cut. It exists. It's like, no, Jason, there are people who don't... Because that's another thing. A lot of people who really believe that this finished version exists don't understand how film works. Like, how making film works. Even if Zack has an edit, Warner Brothers will have to invest millions of dollars to finish visual effects and film some scenes that he didn't get to film. Which means paying actors, people like Affleck, who have left the role.
Yeah.
and Cavill, who has likely left the role. It's just like, what is going on?
Here we go. So recently,
well, yeah,
our good friend.
Earlier this year, there was a one significant one to mention real quick. Sorry. Earlier this year, Kevin Smith poured fuel on
this
the
is
fire.
what I was going to mention.
Go hit me.
So he's turned around and confirmed that there's a Snyder Cut, but he also says, he said, the full quote is, "I've not seen it firsthand, and also to be clear, I know Zack, but it's not like we're fucking tight, son." That being said, I've spoken now to enough people at various levels in that production. There is a Snyder Cut, for sure. That's not a mythical beast. It exists. Now, it's not a finished movie by any stretch of the imagination.
Right, so he's cleared it up there. However, people just listen to that first bit and run with it.
Yeah, of course. Because why wouldn't you just listen to the first bit and then run with it?
Which is so strange, because it's like, he makes it clear there that there's a cut, but it's not a finished thing. It's not a done thing.
Yeah.
So, that fuels speculation even further. And baffles me because so many people on that hardcore DCEU standing like wave were like, yeah, see, Kevin's the real deal. Like, he knows what he's talking about. It's like,
Kevin is the real deal.
You know that Kevin prefers to talk only about the stuff he enjoys and doesn't like to linger on stuff he doesn't enjoy. He's made a point of that on Fat Man Beyond recently quite a lot. Because he'd rather just talk about the stuff he likes, because why not? Which is why he didn't talk about Justice League or Batman v Superman very much beyond his initial watch, because he made it clear in his reviews that he was like, I really like this and I really like this. The rest of it, not so much, so, we'll call it there. So it's like, it's not like he's going, this deserves to be seen. He's just saying, yeah, no, I've heard about it. I've heard that there's a cut and Zack's got it and cool. And he also then followed up in that interview and when he reiterated it on one of his podcasts that they should release it in whatever state they choose because it will make $1 billion. I don't think it'll make $1 billion, but it'll definitely make a lot of bank because there is enough of a fan base there, and if you charge them enough, they'll pay for it.
Well, you say that, I don't think they will.
Well,
I think it's a lot of bluster.
The rumour has now kicked up. Again, I reiterate, we're recording this on Monday the 18th. The rumour has now kicked up that something is being prepared for public consumption. Because a few weeks back, there's a lot of people who've been paying for Release the Snyder Cut ads on bus stops in LA. They paid for them to be outside Comic-Con earlier this year and stuff like that. But some of them, I know, it's ridiculous, but to give them credit, some of them have tied it in with charities, like where people donate to help to help fund the banners, and at the same time a cut of the proceeds goes to a charity and things like that. Because Zack Snyder early in October retweeted an article about one of them saying like so happy and so pleased with some of the fans like being so kind and passionate. And it's like,
Yeah.
cool, great, because Zack Snyder doesn't use social media very much. He tweets like once a month. So to go out of his way to say that was kind of cool. Then he's done some signings at conventions recently, and people have said to him, so where's the Snyder Cut? And he's gone, it exists. So that's poured more fuel on the fire.
It'll be a work print. It'll be a work print.
But on Sunday the 17th of November, Ben Affleck, the once and I suppose future in name alone Batfleck,
The once and future Bat,
tweeted out #release the Snyder Cut. Now, quite a lot of writers and actors at various levels associated with DC or not have done this over time, but when the Batman gets involved, people listen.
When the Batman speaks, people listen.
Not that long before
he's putting on a weird voice and you can't hear him if you don't.
Not that long before he tweeted that out, Gal Gadot tweeted out #release the Snyder Cut. So Wonder Woman and Batman tweeted out #release the Snyder Cut on the same day. Zack Snyder retweeted Gal Gadot saying, listen to the ancient Amazonian, something like that. And then he retweeted Ben Affleck saying, also the Batman, something like that.
He said, I've got the article up here. He retweeted it. He retweeted Gal Gadot with, this ancient Amazonian can't be wrong. And then retweeted the Ben Affleck one that says, neither can Batman.
Now, then David Ayer retweeted Ben Affleck.
Oh no, David Ayer got involved
because there's also, and I learnt this last night, a second campaign going on called Release the Ayer Cut.
No!
Of people who want the David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad to be released. Because Suicide Squad was edited by 3 different people. David Ayer did an edit, Warner Brothers, separate of him, did an edit, and the trailer house that made the trailers did an edit, and that's the version that went to cinemas. The version that went to home media was the version that went to cinemas with some of the stuff from Ayer's cut put back in. Oh God, it just but anyway. David Ayer is, again, a man of many things. I'm sure he's a lovely person in real life, but he's an absolute shit stirrer when it comes to his art and contributions.
I've seen his interviews. I don't think he is.
Like, I mean, he got up on stage at the premiere of Suicide Squad and just yelled "fuck Marvel" into a microphone.
Yeah,
You're like,
very good.
Why are you?
It's very good.
Like, why are you spinning division? For Christ, which is weird because the Marvel lot have never shown this kind of hostility. Like, even last night, Dave Bautista tweeted out #release the Snyder Cut. I want to see it. Come on, guys. So it's like, look, MCU actors are just like, yeah, sure, go for it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, they're not being nasty. They're like, yeah, cool, go for it. Because, you know, healthy competition, healthy environment, the more of these films there are, the better everyone will strive to be to, like, match or outdo one another. Like, that's cool. You know, and again, we are not overly fond of the DCEU, does not mean that we don't want the DCEU to succeed. We want it to be great.
I would like all movies to be good, please.
Yeah, I want Wonder Woman 1984 to blow my goddamn brains out, like, with joy and wonder.
Can we not have another 2017 The Mummy? Thanks.
Oh, God.
Like, that was a disappointment. Like, I was down with the idea of the Dark Universe. Like, I'm not going to lie. But then
the game has begun.
Like, oh no, these are going to be bad, and then it turns out these weren't going to be these at all because
none of them
that
exist.
one was so bad. So, you know, there's a world where I could be enjoying
a
dark universe, but no.
I've got one film for you. What? Monster Squad.
No,
does everything you need.
I get that Monster Squad exists.
Yeah,
but I don't want Monster Squad.
Everyone wants Monster Squad.
I want.
Double bill it with what's that one where Howie Mandel plays that monster that lives under the bed?
I'm sorry?
Little Monster or something like that?
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know. Howie Mandel plays a like blue furry creature that lives under this kid's bed and they get into adventures.
Why am I just learning about this now?
You thought Gizmo was weird.
No,
but now Howie Mandel
Gizmo is
the monster under your bed. Gizmo is bae.
Gizmo.
#release the Gizmo cut.
Gizmo is life. Gizmo is love.
Oh God, no. Somebody. So
Oh yes.
This fire has been the fuel. This fire has been absolutely stoked. Ray Fisher then tweeted it as well.
Yeah.
So you've got one half of the Justice League making a fuss as of the 17th of November.
No one retweeted Ray Fisher because everyone was just like, "Who?"
Oh, I feel bad for him, man. He's a good
bad for Ray
actor.
Fisher.
I feel real bad for him. But this says one of two things to me. This says either, because Snyder's parted ways with Warner Brothers now. Like, he's not working with them. He's not on the DCEU. He's not a consultant.
No, he's doing his big zombie action film for Netflix.
Yeah. So Snyder has no stake in that game anymore. This says one of two things to me. Either, one, they've reached a conclusion and them and Warner's have decided they're going to put something together for public consumption. And this is all of them kind of getting involved in teasing it a little bit. And like teasing the idea that something is going to come out soon. Or second option is that he's trying to put on a public display to annoy Warner Brothers. Like, Warner's are not talking or not considering it, and he's just using that fan campaign and furore to get that going.
Oh, I love a furore. I love a good furore.
That would mean that he's in a really good place, friend-wise, with Affleck and Fisher, that they would get involved.
I think that's...
And be like, yeah, we'll back you up. But also Godot, who does have stake in this all. And if this is her stepping out of line, that's quite unlikely.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she's a human and she can say what she likes, of course, but
unless
she's also, she's also tied to a contract to play a hero in their movies, and if she's seen to be kind of publicly shaming the studio, then that's a bad look.
Yeah.
So, I think as a result, it's more likely, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, that we're going to see a Snyder Cut being released in some form. Now, whether that is finished with animatics or whether it's a Richard Donner thing where Zack's just taken what he's got and done what he can with it, or is going to do that, I don't see Warner Brothers pouring millions into adding stuff to it. I see them going, here's your toys, put them in whatever order you want.
They're not going to be shooting anything for it. Let's put it that way.
No. They might do some. They might do some effects, but there's no way they're going to chuck a huge budget at it, because as loud and as passionate as the release the Snyder Cut fan base are, they're not the general movie-going audience. Any money that Justice League made, or Aquaman, which is of course like the highest-grossing DC movie ever, any of that money that they made wasn't just the fans going to see it. That was Johnny Come Lately going, oh, that looks good, and just going to watch it. Like, they're not all going to go out to watch Justice League again. Or they're not all going to buy Justice League again, or for the first time, just because it's slightly different. So, to make money on this, they need to spend as little as possible putting it together. And the best way to do that is to, just use this stuff that already exists and have a small budget to tweak and add things if need be, but a very small budget. Use your stars to market the fact that it's coming.
Yeah.
Because that's cheap. Like, you don't have to pay Affleck anything to say, hey, Affleck, can you just tweet out #release the Snyder Cut? And he'll just go, yeah, sure. And then it goes out to his millions of followers. And you do that for enough people, you know. You maybe put a trail in front of Wonder Woman 1984 next summer.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, for wherever it's going to be. And Warner Brothers are on the verge of working with HBO Go on their streaming service. So the rumour is that whatever form this takes, to minimise the risk but see as best profit as they can, they will make whatever the Snyder Cut is available on the streaming service.
Yeah,
Which not only makes bank that month when it comes out, but makes bank the same way all streaming services and subscriptions do, which is from people forgetting they're paying for it and paying an additional 3 or 4 months before they cancel it. That would make them more money than putting it in cinemas for a limited run.
Yeah.
So, I think we are going to see the release of, and I can't stress this enough, a Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut does not exist, that everyone has mythologized. But the work print or edit with some repackaging, it looks like we're going to get that. That's a weird thought to me. That, like, I'm happy for people who want this thing for whatever reason they want it, be it blind passion or just a genuine love of the characters and wanting to see, you know, what would have been had the tragic circumstances in the Snyder's life not happened. Or even if it's just people going, it was his baby, he never got to finish it, I want him to have closure. And they just support him as a person, despite the fact that he really loves the work of Ayn Rand and has recently come out as saying, no, I don't see any of the fascism stuff in that, I just think it's really cool. It's like, oh, for God's sake, Zach. It's not far right, I just think it's about architecture and stuff. It's like, oh, for God's sake, Zach. For God's sake, Zach, are you that tone deaf?
You're either an idiot or you're pretending to be an idiot. One of the two.
At one point, which is less heinous.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know. So, like, it's you know, I'm happy for people who want this. But I will say this, do you know what will suck? For everyone involved?
Anyone, if you pay him enough.
Big Damn Cast, sponsored by BJ's.
Yeah.
If it's really bad. Now, I don't necessarily think it's going to be great, whatever form it takes. I don't think it's going to improve, per se, on the Justice League I saw.
Yeah.
I also don't think it could be any worse than the Justice League I saw, but I'm open to be surprised.
What could possibly be worse?
It still has shit Steppenwolf in it. It'll still have Mustache Superman, because obviously there's stuff that they didn't get round to shooting yet. Because part of the reason why Cavill was shooting Mission Impossible and everything was because of the way the shoot cut short. He went on to Mission Impossible. So had Zack Snyder's carried on, he probably wouldn't have done Mission Impossible and would have filmed more stuff in that original block.
You reckon?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because he was meant to obviously be in that film more, and the majority of what we see of him in the cut that was released is the CGI mustache covered up version. So it's like they definitely had more to shoot with him. It must have been literally that case of, because they didn't get it back to shooting immediately. There was like a good month of downtime. And I don't blame him in that month for going, I don't know what's happening. My agent has told me Mission Impossible want me. That's guaranteed work for the next 7 months. I'm going to go and do that.
Yeah, too right.
Like, I don't blame him at all for doing that.
That's how this industry works. Like, you do what you got to do when you got to do it.
Passionate about the film he was making either, I wouldn't be surprised, because I don't think the Justice League original script or whatever it was going to be particularly brilliant. Like, I don't think what we're going to get is going to be brilliant at all. It will just be different, and it will appeal to some people more than the original cut did, and that's it. That's all we're going to get. But imagine if even the people who really wanted it think it's trash. They spent 2 years of their life asking for it.
I can't handle that much irony.
The ironing is delicious.
I just can't.
So, do you, gentle listener, want them to hashtag release the Snyder Cut? Where do you stand on this conspiracy? What developments have happened since we recorded this? If stomach has changed and you want us to talk about it next week, email in bigdamcontact@gmail.com. You can, of course, hit us up on Twitter @BigDamnCast. And, even better, chat to us on Discord. Go to patreon.com/BigDamnCast. For as little as $1 a month, you can support us in our endeavours. And get on the Discord and all that good stuff.
But hey, you can read my live reactions to the rest of the War of the Worlds BBC series.
chuck us a couple more shekels, and you can even like decide what stuff we cover later, get commentaries months before the rest of the world, get credits in our videos, and so much more.
Yeah, I'm going to put another commentary up this week, one that I should have put up ages ago, but I've just,
That's right. Let's say exactly what it is, ladies and gentlemen, because it'll be out by this point.
It'll be Red Dwarf Meltdown.
Yes,
that's going
so
up
if you
this
want
week.
to venture to Wax World with us, and see Winnie the Pooh get shot by a firing squad.
And if you're not a patron, then you'll have to wait 3 months to get hold of it.
It'll be yours in February, but you can have it now if you become a patron of $5 or more.
And we've got another commentary of one of our favourite Christmas films coming up over December. We've got some bits and pieces coming up soon. We've got another Big Damn Love at the end of this week.
Also, where can the viewers find you on a regular basis throughout the week?
Twitch.tv/Big Damn Stream, where I'll be streaming many things. I've no idea what I'm going to stream tonight, Chris.
I
no
imagine.
idea what
I'm
we're
gonna try.
streaming
I'm gonna try and stream in the gaps when I can on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. But because of my setup here in Panto, I'm just using my PlayStation camera, so I'll be streaming mostly through twitch.tv/officialcdj.
Yeah.
And I'll host on Big Damn Stream. So keep your eyes on Big Damn Stream, folks, because I'll be there either way.
That's where you'll see many things.
Yes, like shoes and ships and sealing wets and cabbages and the Snyder Cut.
That's where you'll see many faces, because we have many faces.
And many faces? You take Center Patrol because you have many faces.
Yes.
Boys, girls, seals, sealing wets, cabbages and kings. We bid you good day with the mating call of the Martian envoy. La la la.